So if you have joined, please help me share the video, because today is going to be another explosive broadcast. We're going to spend a lot of time, doing this. And sorry, one sec. So share the broadcast, invite other people to join us, and let us talk. So I'm sharing, so you should also share and invite your friends to be part of this discussion. So we'll start in a minute. So, from wherever you are watching from, this is Mayegun live again, and we want to, wake our consciousness again and our subconscious mind on what is going on. And even though people may not want to really play this up the way we are doing it, but the reality is the situation in Nigeria, in our politics, has called for, is now sort of calling for serious concern, where real people needs to stand up and save the future and save the lives of those who are actually still here, us. So we can no longer look away. We can no longer pretend all is well. We can no longer keep indulging them. I mean, these politicians. We can no longer keep doing that. And for those who are yet to take us serious, we'll wait for you. We'll wait for you. We will not rush you. We'll give you your time until the reality sets in for you as well. And then you will realize that, there is no other just cause presently in the political discussion in our country right now, other than for us to get involved, other than for us to come together as the less privileged, because we are the less privileged. If you don't have people in power, anything can happen to you anytime. You all know that. So except we come together as one, pull our resources together as one, and speak with one voice, and the voice of enough is enough. Except that, we will keep going in circle and in circle and in circle, which means we are going to still be in this same catch-22, where we think we are making progress somewhere, but we are losing a lot in another place. We cannot keep taking 2 steps forward and take another 6, 7, 10 steps backward. And that's what I want to talk about this afternoon, because we have to talk about this. We call something get involved. And we said, see, get involved is just a concept. It is not a political party. It is not a scheme put in place to lure you into something you are running away from. No, it is not an agenda for someone or for some people or for some tribe or for anyone that is so different to what we all want. And what do we want? We want a better country. We want our government to be responsible. We want to be treated as the just and the, as the first-class citizen of our country. We are not asking for much. These are things that should bring us together. These are things promised us by our leaders, our politicians, the elite. They knew all of these things exist, and they promised. They campaigned vigorously for this, and they finally got it, but they're not giving us what they promised they are going to give us. So what if we now unite ourselves based on all these shortcomings, based on all these wants? Unite ourselves. We know where the shoe pinches. We know where it hurts. So why can't we be bold enough to stand up and do it ourselves? That is what we call get involved. And that is what many people are misinterpreting. They've done a lot. They've done a lot to give it these different names, different definitions, different this and that. They've done a lot. But they've been unable to change, or to challenge the movement. They can't. Because they have no clue. They have no clue of what we are doing. So whatever they think they know is actually through their own speculations. And you know what? Politics in Nigeria is about speculation. That's what they do in Nigeria. And most of the time, because many of us understand the system so well, we can speculate, we can assume, we can propose, we can prophesize without being so like real spiritual people who see things. That is, if you take your time to study the political system of Nigeria, you can do all of these things and you will still be right. And that is what they have been trying to do with us. And they've not been able to really hold us to something tangible, to prove them right about what they think about what we are doing. But our concept is so open. But it's so open only to those who have open minds. It is not open for everyone. That is why I keep telling people, we don't need everyone. No, we don't. We can't get everyone. But we need the real ones. And who are the real ones? I am one of the real ones. So if you find yourself in the same mindset with me, you are the real one. And what do we have to do? We have to find the remaining real ones and ignore the charlatans, the fortune tellers, the future predictors and predictors. We have to ignore them. Do you know what I mean? So this is the only way we can make this and give it a life. By ignoring the doomsayers. That is who they are. They speculate based on the system they understand. And I'm so happy God will not make them understand what we are doing. And what are we doing? We are telling the people the truth exactly the way it should be told. Not how we have been doing it, patching it. I don't want to offend that person. I don't want to offend my tribe. Or I don't want to offend my pastor. I don't want my imam to be offended with me because of my activity on Facebook. Or I don't want, all this I don't want are things you will never find within the Get Involved movement. You will never find that. Because what? You have to be upright before you can demand for probity. That is what many of us are lacking. We are more controlled, right, by our emotions. Many of us are being controlled by our minds instead of our heads. And what does that mean? Your mind is where you keep your emotion. Your mind is where you keep your feeling. Your mind is where you retain love or hatred. Your mind. But you know what you have in your head? You have something that is where you plan. That is what we've not been doing. Many of us have been reacting to the situation in Nigeria based on our minds. Our minds. Oh, what he said is so hurtful. I don't like what he said. How could he say that about Christianity? Your mind, your feeling, your emotion. And same thing goes to politics. So when people want to talk about politics, they tribalize it. They religionize it. They class it. Because that is how they feel. That is how they deal with everything. Religion, tribe, emotion. But politics is more than that. Politics is life. When you sit down somewhere, discussing about something in the political terrain, you must have it at the back of your mind that you are determining the fate of millions of people, human beings. Which means you must think beyond yourself at that minute. You must be selfless. You must be upright enough to speak for them. That is why you are actually sitting there in the first place. But when you don't see it that way, then the narratives change. Then the result change. And the expectation, the hope and all that dashed. Because your thought and your action is not considering the other people. You are seeing politics at your own, from your own myopic view, yourself. And when you look at yourself all the time, you won't see much. You can't see other people. And in politics, that is not acceptable. But in our own part, many of us who have never been in politics, the armchair critics, the know-it-all, the best analyst, the best critic, and the rest of us, what we fail to do is actually that we fail to add action to our thoughts. And what did I mean? And sorry, before then, we are indirectly encouraging this nonsense by our docility and our armchair criticism. No action. We know it all. Nobody wants to try anything new. We always know the end of everything. Even before it started. We know everything. We know the history. The doctored history anyway. We know everything. We never want to put our words to action. And when you see people doing that, we sit down and criticize and analyze and explain and do all of these things. We get followers from all this nonsense we are doing called nation building. That is not nation building. When you sit down to provide solutions, even though you are never going to be there to practicalize what you preach, then you don't deserve to criticize those who stand out to say, I want to be honorable, I want to be governor. Those are the people who thought their mindset, their opinions, their understandings of the situation will impact, positively on the polity. But you, who knows it all your solutions that you have been posting on social media, on the media generally, many of you are so good in analyzing on the TV, you know it all. But when you are called upon to come and practice what you preach, you fail woefully. And guess what? With your analysis and all the nonsense you will still back it up. You will still defend your failure. And we said, no, we won't continue like that. And guess what? You are still there telling us how it's going to end. Because you are an analyst. You are a political analyst. Political analyst of repute. Award-winning political analyst. Rubbish. You analyze. You simplify. You offer solutions, but you cannot practice what you preach because all you are doing is because you are saying the word based on yourself. That's what you're doing. And we say, no, we are not going to listen to this analyst anymore. We are not going to listen to all these pollsters, people who make money through the misery and the miserable lives of the people, the vulnerability of the people. Do you know what I mean? We are not going to allow that anymore. Thank you very much, my dear brothers. Akinjide. It's just how the tempo rise sometimes. But let me calm down, as you said. It is time for action. It is time to put our words in action. It is time to leave the comfort of our rooms. It is time to leave the comfort of our offices. It is time to leave the comfort of what makes you comfortable right now. And defend, and see beyond yourself, and see beyond your tribe, and see beyond your political lineage, and see beyond your education, and see beyond your religion, and see beyond your class. Let us see other people. We need to see them. They are the time bomb waiting to explode. And guess what? When this bomb explodes, they won't even recognize if you're a Christian, a Muslim, a PDP, APC, Yoruba, Hausa, Igbo, or whatever. It is going to explode as long as you keep to your traditional way of armchair criticism. It is time for us to stand up, encourage ourselves, and get those we can get away from these people. They are out there, vulnerable. They are helpless. They don't know where to go. And these people who put them in this sorry situation, they know all of this too. And they take advantage of that every now and then. They never get out of the old quagmire. They never get out of this old mess. Rather than us getting out of this mess, we keep digging deeper. And there is this lovely saying that says, if you find yourself in the hole, the first thing you must do is to stop digging and find a way out of it. You don't find yourself in a deep hole and you keep digging. You keep digging. How have we been, how have we kept digging when we found ourselves in the hole? By our own, tribalism and all this nonsense. Class war. We need to come together. We need to bring ourselves. Nigeria can work. We can have restructured Nigeria. We can have a sense of belonging that will make us proud again as Nigerians. But we can't do that if we keep keeping this emotional attachment to what we do. Religious attachment, tribal attachment, and the rest of that. We will never move forward. And if you keep believing in the same people that brought us to this sorry situation as those who are going to take us out of this sorry mess, then that means we are not ready to change. But some of us are no longer and we are no longer sitting back. That's what the difference we have been bringing to this whole thing. We are no longer going to keep quiet anymore. We are going to stand up. We are already standing up. We will stand up. We will encourage the youth. These are the only people who have everything, the physical strength, the mental strength, and the agility and the ability to fight for what they want and get what they want. So we will no longer look at that old generation of dealers, of future destroyers, of dream killers. We will no longer look at them. You can call it whatever you want to call it. Embarrassing the elders, insulting the elders, disgracing the elders. These are things that are not traditional to us. My dear brother, our tradition and our culture have been desecrated by these same people. Everything we hold dear, traditionally, religiously, culturally, economically, educationally, they have desecrated them. They have destroyed them. They have nothing. Do you know what I mean? They have nothing that can make us cling on to them. I don't see anything that can make us cling on to them and say, we need to defend this. We cannot have democratic constitution when we have undemocratic people in power. My dear brother Akinjide Ajishafe, it's a very simple thing. No rocket science. You cannot make undemocratic people institute democratic constitution. You know better. And that is why we are no longer treating the symptoms. We want to go right there into the root of the problem. Let us take over. From the grassroots, we can do it. They can't do anything without us. That is very, very clear. If you see those who are fighting themselves for politicians today, they are youth. They are not old men or old women of yesteryears. They are people of my age mates, your age mates, and people you know are struggling, but yet they are defending those who put them in that situation. So that is what we want to change now. That is why we are appealing to everybody. That is why I am always here. Appealing to you to reason with me. Reason with all of us who have come together, who have put our heads together to say, listen, we can do this. The only viable opposition to those in government are to be the poor people who are feeling the brunt of their actions. We are supposed to be their oppositions. We are not supposed to be their praise singers. Very true, my dear brother Akinjide. Their children are there. They are slave kings, slave prince and slave queens on Instagram. When they graduate from London, when they graduate from America or wherever they always go for their education, We are the ones sharing their pictures. We are the ones. Because they have achieved something that we can only dream of. They say we are not too young to run. See where they have pushed us. That is to tell you how bad our situation is. See where they have pushed us. They are now discussing to make laws that will now qualify you as a young person to participate in politics. That is to tell you how bad the situation is. It means we don't even have any sense of belonging. We don't have it. We are pretending. When we join them, they manage to give us councillorship. They manage to give us local government chairman that eventually you're never going to function. They manage to make us personal assistants, and at most, they give you commissionership. Subservient positions. Positions that makes you answerable to someone of low IQ, to you. That is what they have been offering us. They make us subservient to those who are of low IQ, with many of you. You can't do anything. Sometimes when you go to your local government where you have a brilliant idea of how things should be run, the man there is like you are talking in Greek. He doesn't even understand what you are saying. Talk less of even seeing how to put it to practice. That is the reality you and I know of. They turn our local governments to beer parlors today. When you go to local government on Fridays, you all know what happens. That's when they share the whole money they make during the week. And guess who are those sharing the money? Our mothers and our fathers. Your parents, my parents. Your uncles, my uncles. They are those who are defending these people in our villages. Because you are not interested. You are in Lagos making money, and his life is so difficult, and you don't know why life is so difficult. You are a Nigerian, and you can't even go to Kano because you are from the east. You can't live the way you want to live. But you didn't make all of this. You did not create this problem. But you don't want to be interested in how to stop it. But you want it to stop. So you have to put actions to your words. You have to. That's how to change things. We have to go back to that root cause. As you are struggling, fighting in Lagos and doing all of that to entrench, development, getting carried away about the ongoing development in Lagos and all that, your village is rotting away. That is what is happening. And whenever you go back to your village, you always feel sorry for them because you have been thinking about yourself alone. The moment you stop thinking about yourself alone, Nigeria will start changing. And when we say stop thinking about yourself alone, we are not just saying stop spending money on yourself alone. We don't even have the money to spend on ourselves. Talk less of spending on others. That is the reality. We are saying there are some decisions you make. There are some associations you join. There are some beliefs you plant in your mind that are making you take decisions that are ending up destroying other people without you even knowing. There are things happening, and these are things you need to know. Because, you see, life, in Nigeria, we always believe that, when we have problems, it must be spiritual, it must be someone from our family who doesn't want our progress. When we start business and the business fail, we always feel like probably it's someone who is doing the same business and doesn't want you to succeed. It probably cost you so that you won't succeed and his own business will succeed. We have been brought up with so many wrong beliefs, and that is number one thing. That's why I said to ask for probity. You yourself must at least come with clean hands. Check yourselves first. Things you condemn or your belief, because your belief is actually things that I believe are forcing you to make some decisions that are leading you down the drain. You found yourself in the pit. Instead of you to fall back and then think about what were the decisions you took that brought about this, your belief tells you something else, and you start, instead of you to stop digging, you keep digging, making the same mistake, and you find yourself at the bottom of the pit where you can't even come out again. Decisions, life decisions. Before spiritual or whatever attack gets to you, have you checked yourself mentally? What are the beliefs you really have on? What are the beliefs that occupies your mind about everything? If you are the type who believes that you can do anything and there will be no consequence as long as you pray about it, then you have a problem. Because it is the same mindset you will also use in choosing those who lead you. When someone fails you in his first time, your belief tells you that if you give him another chance, he's never going to fail you if you pray for him. If you pray for him and pray and support him. Your belief. Your belief that says, another person cannot make you great except someone of your religion, except someone of your tribe. Your belief. And you have been struggling all your life, unable to make headway. And you still believe someone somewhere is actually your problem? Check your belief. So these are things that we should start, raising our subconscious minds to. That you have to sit down and ask yourself some critical questions. You just have to ask yourself, do you know why? No one else will give you an answer to the riddle of your life except yourself. Because wherever you are today, they are the result of your decisions yesterday. No magic. No magic. So when you go into politics with the mindset that if you have a leader who loves you and you serve him right, he must reward you. That's another thing I quickly want to chip in. Nigerians with the mentality or the mindset of their right to, how did my friend really explain that to me the last time we were having this discussion? He said sense of not sense of, oh God, if I remember, I'll come back to it. Where you believe that someone must help you. Sense that you have the right. Once someone is your brother and is rich, he must help you. That sense of expectation, so to say, let me just use that word. Right of expectation. That you have the right to expect from someone. If your friend have money, then definitely he must help you. Thank you very much, darling Tunde. God bless you. That's why I have brilliant minds on my timeline. Brilliant people. Sense of entitlement. I am entitled to it because I am his brother. So you that always have such mindset, you take that same mindset and join politics. You always have that sense of entitlement. If I work for him, he must settle me. He must make me his PA. He must buy me a car. He must compensate me because it is my right of entitlement, right to entitlement. You cannot change anything when you have this mindset. Same thing goes to everything you do. Politics is just part of our daily existence. We all practice politics every time, every day. We just don't know. Sense of entitlement. You don't take that into politics and expect to change anything. It's never going to happen. Because you don't have any right of entitlement from an individual when it comes to public office. As a citizen, we all have, as citizens, we all have the same rights of entitlement. That is, our government must be responsible. And they must be responsible to us. That is the right sense of entitlement that we all have. That nobody should take away from us. Except those who have now privatized governance. So that is why we have been unable to do anything. we have the capacity, we have the resources to change our lives for the better. I was talking to a brother who phoned me from, from Italy this morning. And I said, when politicians come and they say, we are going to build roads, we are going to build schools, we are going to create jobs, and so on and so forth, like they always do. Nobody so far has been able to sit one of them down and say, tell us how you are going to do it. Because I don't do road for now. Tell us how you are going to do it. Tell us how you're going to raise the money. Tell us how you're going to raise the money and people won't suffer. Give us your economic workbook for this state. Nobody has time to study that. Everybody is fighting for what they can get. Because their understanding of what politics is and what politics is all about is completely whack. You get what I mean? Their sense of understanding of what is politics is whacked. So you can't expect them to change anything. That is why we have to go back to the roots. You, me, everybody, all of us, let us come together. If you have been taking contracts from them, go and finish the contract and cancel your deal with them. You are about to turn to their enemy. Big time. If you have been looking for a job from these politicians, cut it out. You don't need to beg anybody for a job. I told the brother that phoned me from Italy this morning, I said, sir, do you know we can build 100,000 housing units in Ogun State alone in 4 years? I won't spend the way these criminals will spend the money. And he said, he believed, even though he wanted me to explain further. I said, in Ogun State, for instance, we have our own limestone that is giving us cement, which means we produce cement in Ogun State in large quantity. We have rocks that surrounds the state where people are now breaking them they are turning them to quarries, and they are using these people, as in those in charge of all these quarries, they are giving them as jobs for the boys. They are those being compensated from the last political exercise. So I said, if we start breaking our rocks and piling them and moving them to all the 20 local governments in Ogun State, and say, you see, we want to build new towns. This is how Oyinbo decongest their cities. They've created new towns. So if we are saying to build Nigeria is very difficult, let us start creating new towns where the roads are very good. They have working hospitals. They have a standard schools. They have a standard shopping complex, city center. Let us start investing in that. And he said, how? I said, let us start breaking our rocks. Let us start, extracting our limestone. And let us start producing more cement. You give them quotas. Those companies manufacturing cement in Ogun State, give them quotas. They must supply all the cement we need. They must. We'll give them tax-free business for the next 1 year. Tax rebate for 1 year. Produce every cement we need to build all our new towns. 100,000 housing units in Ogun State. And we have rivers. Yes, we have rivers that we can dredge and we can dredge and get sharp sands to complete the construction. And I said, you know what? We will still get loyal as in patriotic Ogun indigenes who will be ready to work under subsidized price, under subsidized salary to build these new towns. And I said, you know what? That will, on its own, create more than 1 million jobs for the next 4 years. For someone who wants to work. And he said, but when we build the house, how are they going to do it? I said, because when we build cheap houses, we can consider mortgage for those who have stable income in our state. Let us even start with them. We want to build new towns where there is 24/7 electricity, where there is a running water, where there is a standard hospital. And you know what Oyinbo always do? This is what they do. When they feel like they want to decongest this particular area, they will go and build new towns under new land. They will give it a name. They will build everything there. And they will take people. They will say, okay, oh, you see this place, we are having people here. I mean, sorry, we are having this area here. All the people here are 100,000 people. Because they build the house. They know those who are going to occupy the houses. They know them. 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom, 4 bedroom, 5 bedrooms. Family, you know, all these things. They build them everywhere. But when they are building, they are actually planning new city, new towns. So by the time they finish their construction, you will see new hospitals around. You will see new shopping complex, city center around. You will see new playing ground for children around. Running water is there, 24/7 electricity. So if we can't fix our problem overnight, let us build new towns cheaply. How? Like I explained, limestone in Ogun State will produce all the cement we need to build new houses in Ogun State. Yes. And we won't have to pay a kobo. We won't have to pay dime for them. Because people are making money from our state, from our natural resources. They are making money, they are paying tax to government, and government is stealing the money. Now, let us say we'll give you 1 year tax rebate. We want 100,000 tons of cement to build new homes for our people. New homes, proper homes. That's how you start decongesting Ijebu-Ode, decongesting all these things. That's how you can plan new towns. That's when you can say we are starting. That's when you can now say in another 20 years, if we continue under this scale, we'll build everything and we'll become a modern city. So by the time you decongest the city, you don't need to demolish all the old homes. They will be there to remind us of our past. We won't demolish them, but we will move people out of them. Well coordinated. He said, who are the people that we are going to give the homes to? I said, you know what? Ogun State government has been paying salary. Nigerian government has been paying salary to some workers. Which means, as Badero Olushola, your salary as Yongola Yode will not come to me. It will go to you. Mine will come to me. How have they been doing that? Because they have data. They have a data bank where they keep all the record of every civil servant. I said, let us start with the civil servants. Ogun State can boast of over 50,000 civil servants today. 50,000 on the payroll of the state government. Let us start with them. We want to build cheap homes, not homes that you are going to tell them to start paying 8 million, 10 million. Because you have already contracted the whole thing out to your friends who wants to make money. Let us build cheap homes with our resources. With cheap money, cheap labor for ourselves. New homes, new cities, new towns. In 20 local government of Ogun State. We can do that in 4 years. Who says it's not possible? Only those who cannot think outside the box. That alone. Construction. If you know how many people are in construction in this part of the world, they make good money. Serious money. Construction. That alone will take like 20-30% of our unemployed youth and you fix them to a job for the next 4 years. Next 4 years. Then in another 4 years, that means we have some homes going. We have civil servants. We have them on different salary scales. Why can't we just give them mortgage with our cheap homes? Let them become homeowners. Instead of them paying rent, let them be paying mortgage. So if they are paying mortgage, they know it's their own houses. They will keep it all right as long as the facilities in the whole place is working. It's as simple as that. No rocket science. No rocket science. The only reason why they can't build those cheap homes is because they don't want to alter the cheap money they get from taxes and all that and royalty from these people who are taking our resources. Many of our resources are being taken in Ogun State secretly that many of you don't even know. You don't know. Except one day newspaper say, oh, they have been taking gold from so area. Oh, they have been taking. Then you say, oh, it's true. I know about it. And you know about it. What have you done about it? It is time for us to do something. And we cannot do all of this, leaving these criminals in charge. We have to send them away. They have to go away. And they can't go away if you are still taking side. Thinking about yourself alone. I'll give you another instance. I've said this many times and I will repeat it. Ogun State is the highest producer of timber in the whole of West Africa. Highest producer of timber. Do you know the fortune we can make out of that? if we make use of it judiciously, if we use it for our own benefit, do you know what we are going to make out of that? Ogun State can become the furniture hub of Nigeria, where our youth who are graduates from our technical schools can become owners of furniture companies in Ogun State. Do you know why? They don't have to go and buy the timbers anywhere. All they have to do is just to take, for government to provide, facility for them to start big. Yes, young people, they can become factory owners. Factory owners that are going to be employing people. They are going to be paying taxes to government. Do you know what we can do with that? But now let me just tell you this simple one the government can do. Today everybody is complaining some of our schools have no seat. They don't have desk, they don't have furniture, they don't have this, they don't have that. But guess what? Everybody is waiting for the day governor will award the contract. Everybody just government has no money. But in your state, your governor is taking 230 million naira every month as security vote, and he has no record of that. Because the constitution says he's free to spend the money. 250 or 230 million naira every month, security vote. What you don't know is that someone who is taking that hundreds of millions of naira as security vote, and there is peace in his state, sometimes you just want to stir things up. Let us start a problem somewhere so that we can justify that with, after all our effort, there's never been war in this state, we've never fought before in this state, blah, 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 blah. But now this thing just happened overnight and they kill 8 people. They say we need security. We need to spend more money on security. And when you ask him, what are you doing with your security money? He says, and he will tell you that, do you think the peace you are enjoying all this while is not from that money? I've been maintaining peace. Who maintains peace with 230 million naira when the unemployed youth are roaming the streets? Who maintains peace with that? You cannot maintain peace when someone is hungry. There is no peace. Tell me where you have been, and you have been with people who are really hungry and they are peaceful. How can you be peaceful when you are hungry? So now you know how they work. Our children have no sitting chairs, no desk. So, in some places where they manage to give them desk, the headmasters or headmistress are their own lord of manor on their own. They are their own constituted authority on their own. Many of them are locked up somewhere until they have special occasion in the school. That's when they bring all the desk out, and we have school administrators. Is that not because we don't have enough chairs for our children? They turn everything to awarding contract. They don't want to start something because there is no time for them to start something and finish it. They need to make money. That's what they do. And we cannot let them get away with it again. They can't get away with it again. They must not get away with it again. That is what I'm challenging you to do. That's why I'm challenging you to stand up. Stand up and be counted. Many of you are friends with them. You are their friends. These people I talk about, I have friends among them. They talk to me all the time. But they know where I stand. And they know they can't change it. And I'm not making effort to change them. I want their situation to change them. That is how I work. That's how I tell people I work with time. Because I believe that time is everything. And when I say time will tell, exactly, time will tell. It's just a matter of time. We started this 2 months ago, and today those who said we were just noisemakers are no longer saying that. And that is exactly, and you see one thing, those who are laughing at us now, they won't be laughing longer. You know what I mean? They won't be laughing longer. They said, how could you stay in Glasgow and be telling people what to do? I am not telling you what to do because you already know what you want to do. I am calling other serious people not to join you in another voyage of destruction. That is what I am doing. And I am walking my talk. That is also what I am doing. Which means I can sit here and pass my message to the comrades who are ever ready. To the comrades, you can't buy. And guess what? If you buy anybody from us, just believe me, it's not from us. It's never with us. Probably someone needs a cover for something. You know? Someone needs a cover for something and they just feel like, okay, let me be with Mayegun and his people. It's a matter of time. I mean, my was in Niger, my binoja can saw your body. Odili Bartholomew. Yeah, Oduduwa Republic can succeed under Fuller. I understand you. You see, that's what we are talking about. We see these things differently. I don't want to believe in something created by people who they've already took side in the past. When the negotiation and the whole thing fell, right? That is when they now feel like, let us threaten them with this, let us threaten them with that. Save for the Biafrans, because Nnamdi Kanu is an upright person. He is someone that is going to help us destroy that place. Finally, not destroy the country. Don't misquote that. But I am always in support of anyone who is ready to destroy that establishment in Nigeria. I will support you. Destroy the establishment. Nigeria is a beautiful country. We once had a beautiful country. A country we had reason to look forward to the future until these marauders came on board. So I am not going to fail to be a student of history. And when I'm reading the history, I want to remember the actors. And those who are currently asking for Oduduwa Republic are all those who have been asking for it in the past, including those who promised us in Yoruba land restructuring. When they get to power, they are in power today. They are not talking about restructuring. So I don't want to dance to their tune. I don't want to dance to their ideology. I want to join those who are going to destroy the system that produces all of them. So when we destroy the system, all of us can now say how we want to take lead our country, how we want to take live together as brothers and sisters. Now, waiting me and support me that too. That's why I support what Kanu is doing. He's giving his people the real sense of belonging, the way they should be thinking, not the way the men of yesteryears led them by their noses. No. And that is what I am also doing in a way to let the youth know that there are other ways. Because this, let me say this quickly. In the game of power, you must always take advantage when you are in position of strength. And by my own calculation, we are in the position of strength right now. We have every reason to be angry at those who have been leading us. That is a position of strength. But we will become stronger if we lead a revolution, a political revolution that will shock the base, that will shock the base of the country, the base of the establishment, like Nnamdi Kanu is doing. This will now force them back to realize that their past and yesteryear's mistakes is now catching up with them. They cannot continue. And they'll put up a fight. And that fight is better fought if we are more together. And that is my own job right now. And Nnamdi Kanu started this movement since 2012. Do you know what I mean? Nnamdi Kanu started in 2012. He knew what he wanted. He played about with the PDP for some time. They believed he was on their side. So the moment he saw the old shenanigan, he was like, yeah, I think we are ready now. Let us make the move now. The result and the resultant effect is what we are witnessing today. I started mine as well in 2012. But mine is not about secession. It's not about Oduduwa Republic. It's not about this. It's exactly about having a sense of belonging in your own country. Taking the political control. Because without that power, you will always be considered as rebels. And the same criminals, the same people that you are supposed to see as criminals, they will be calling you criminals. So it is always better to take off the seat when they least expect it. So when you do that, you gain the power. you can now sit together and say, this is how we are going to rule. This is how we are going to lead this country. This is how we are going to lead our people. We are tired of that yesteryears. And we'll burn every history, every book that tells us about that, inglorious years. And build new one and build new generation of youth that will now change Nigeria. And those who are robbing us, who are brushing us, those who are brushing us with one brush, also those who are painting us with one brush, the youth are not ready. They are the beneficiary. They are those who are looking up to get something, or those who are already getting something from this corrupt system. I've not got anything from Nigeria. Nothing. I'm a Nigerian. I was born in Nigeria. I grew up by grace, just like many of you. I grew up by grace. I got to where I am today by the grace and my efforts and my own decisions of yesterday. I'm not a religious person. I believe in God. I do. Because what I know about him is just pure. And God says, every book, all the book says, God is love. And that is exactly how I see God. And, it is only grace, that will make sure you are never disgraced. Grace. And the grace we're talking about is the grace of God that I believe exists. But save from that, my past decisions brought me to where I am today. If I made wrong decisions then, I won't be here. Prayers won't bring me here. It's about decisions. And it is not just about wishing. It is about acting. It's about taking steps. Walking the talk. And that is exactly what I am encouraging everyone. Stand up. Stand firm. Believe in yourself. Look for your likes. Look for the people who always share the same, the same view with you. You need to look for them. Sorry, one sec. So that is what I'm doing. And then I believe that if we manage to stage this political revolution where we don't end up, having a charlatans again, just like we changed PDP and we brought in APC and everyone is crying now, everyone is complaining. We don't want that anymore. We want to change the orientation of those who want to vie for political office now. So that when we manage to change their orientation of what public office truly means, they will support them, will hold them to their words. And when they fail, they will feel it. That's the difference of what we are doing now. Nnamdi Kanu has fought his own battle to the point whereby it is now Biafra or death. I'm a Yoruba man, not a coward. I'm always a calculative person. And Yorubas are intelligent people, very, very calculative. The Yorubas can watch you for 100 years if they have to. But the day they will tell you they are done. My brother, no DPR can change it. That's who we are. That is who we are. And the mob attack, the mob this thing and all that is based on how we are. Because when we believe in something, we get to the end of it. We are not cowards. But from every tribe, we always have the Judas. In every 12, you always have a Judas. And just like you have in every tribe, we have people that will sell everything. They don't care. We also have people who will never sell anything because they care. Do you get that? So I belong to the category of people who would rather die than get paid for a temporary, what do you call it? For a temporary, what do you call it? Fame, temporary fame. I would rather die or remain poor. So then it is now left for us to prove that, because that's what people will say. Then let's prove that to us. And I said, watch us. Not hard to understand. Just watch us. If they come to you for money, they are not representing us. If anybody comes to you and say, I am a member of Get Involved, we need your help, and they are writing you letter. Get Involved members will never write you letter. From now to eternity. We will never write you letter of appeal. Give us money. We will not target you. We want you to associate with us. And if you believe in what we are doing, associate with us. We will not beg you to join us. Those who beg you to join them are the same people that turn around to spank you hard. We won't beg you because we want people who really want things done. People who really want to change things. So, and if you really want to change things, you must be involved. You must be at the forefront as well. We must see it in you. We don't want your money to speak for you. We don't want your money that way. That's the difference. So at the end of the day, when you find yourself in the position, you will know what to do. That is why from next year, we are going to form our own shadow cabinet across the states in Nigeria. We'll start with Southwest. Shadow cabinet. Young ministers, young commissioners, young House of Assembly members. Those of our members who wants to run for office. We will establish our own mini cabinet and mini chamber where we would start, tutoring them on what lawmaking is. What lawmaking truly means. On what executive council meeting truly should be. We will appoint portfolio to them and we'll give them as job to go and research on what, and their research is not going to be on Google or anywhere. They have to go to the inner part of Ogun State, an inner part of their different states. Get us facts about what your people want. And as a commissioner of forestry, go out there and get real data and bring it back, bring that back to this movement. Let us put everything together and analyze and develop policy on them. And you as a commissioner, what will you do? So if you find yourself in government tomorrow, you will have the foreknowledge of the responsibility of a public officer. This is something new, isn't it? It is something new. And many of you, it's like I've brought you to a stage whereby I'll start confusing you somehow. Like, what's he talking about? How is that possible? It is going to happen. It is going to happen. That is why we call our people volunteers. They are not members. No. They are volunteers. They want to do this. That is why they are with us. They are volunteers. So we don't have members and we don't have chairmen. We don't have all these people that probably you are so accustomed to. We don't have them. So that's the difference. So it is so new that even those who wants to fight us will end up probably, shadow boxing. They will be like fighting their shadows, so to say, because they won't understand us. We will never make them understand us, and they'll keep calling us jokers or like unserious people and all that. In the face of money, billions that will be flying around there soon. Until the last day when they won't be able to change anything. New things are coming. And they are coming so fast because, our people are now so wise. Don't listen to all this youth, Don't listen to all this youth who are like, I told you about mindset just a few minutes ago. I told you about mindset. It's just about their mindset. We have people who have this mentality or this sense of entitlement, like my sister reminded me there. Sense of entitlement. You know what I mean? That's what it takes into politics. So you can't change them. We just have to pity them and feel sorry for them. But they are not our target. They are just a tiny drop in the ocean of those we are looking for. And that is why we don't need it. We don't need to listen to them. I heard some of them are moving to Labour. What do you call it? They said they are doing a political party tour. Jokers. You can keep, they are so predictable. You can predict them. Jokers, youth. What do they know that gives them that, I don't know, that belief that they can visit all these crooks, all these criminals to discuss what? Youth involvement in politics. Really? Youth involvement in politics. You are discussing youth involvement in politics with people who have their own youth wing of their party. How daft is that? It is still this inferiority complex. The inferiority complex of We need their blessing. We have to work together. You don't work together with your oppressors. You only be, what do you call it? Probably if you are slave. That's when you feel comfortable working with your oppressor. You don't work with your oppressors. Every time you have the opportunity of punching your oppressor, you have to do it so hard. Because it may be the only chance you have. You hit him so hard. You don't negotiate with your oppressors. People who made money from your ignorance. You don't mix up with them. You don't meet them. They beg to see you. And you tell them, I don't have time for you. I don't want to talk to you. No. Please. What do you want to tell me? What is it you want to? Okay, you want us to work together? So that at the end of the day, probably you will be governor, he will be commissioner, and I will be PA. God punish all of them. And God punish those idiots going to them. They will be punished. Because they can't take us down this road again. They cannot take us down this road again. We are not going to let that happen. It's not going to happen. So they are just like, it's just like when you see tomorrow, they say APC youth are meeting. And you are seeing 10,000, 20,000 people there. Why should you be bothered? Is that new? Now today with the CAPC, with the CPDP youth, we know they know them, we know they see them. But upon all of that, all of us, they suffer inside that country. All of us. APC, PDP youth. GNI, what's the other guy? Ladi Adebutu youth. Youth Vanguard. GNI Youth Vanguard. Amosun Lenkosi, Siale Kosi, whatever. All these people, you are deceiving yourselves. So nothing is new. And I've told my people, don't look at them all. What have you seen? You've not seen anything. They are still going to pay people to attend their rallies. And you will be there. You will see your friend there in PDP shirt. Because he's hungry. He wants something. What do you expect? They came to his house and they say, okay, are you ready? Let us go to Abeokuta. So who won't go? You are not giving him money. You're just telling him what he should do. And he tells you he's going to do it. So tomorrow you will see him on TV with APC t-shirt. You will see him meeting Amosun, meeting Obasanjo. What do you expect? You are not giving him anything. So don't expect much. Start looking for those who need the message now. Those who truly need the message. They're out there. Pastors. Many of you who are watching me right now, you know your pastors. Go and tell them that Badero says, this war, now their war, they should not pray for any politician in their church anymore. Even if he's a church member. Go and tell your pastors that even if the honorable is your church member, let your pastor call him now and tell him that the wrath of God is coming. Oh, the wrath of God is coming. And when it comes, you won't be spared. Go and get involved now and confess all your sin and hand over everything that is not yours. Then I'll pray for you. Let your pastor start preaching, get involved in your churches. I am sending you there. I'm giving you the challenge now. And if you are a pastor watching me right now, people have been telling me anyway. They've told me get involved is now something they preach in churches now. And I'm very happy. I get my own feedback. And I feel good. Because all we do is not just all this media attention. Media attention will fizzle away. And our problems will remain. That is why this is no longer media attention. Those who are calling it media attention, those beggars, those small boys, they will learn. It's a matter of time. They will learn. So you get me now? Tell your pastors, get involved. Reject money politics. Reject godfatherism. Reject imposition. Reject selection. Reject all these rituals in politics. Tell your congregation to run away from politicians. And if God directs you so well, my pastor, give us someone from your church. Someone you can vouch for. Someone you know, at least God says you should choose. Give him to us and then we'll check him if he's qualified. Yes, I'm challenging you, pastor. And you, my brothers and sisters in Islam. Let us be honest with ourselves. Really? Religion is not what will fix this world for us. You know that, oh. You know it in your Quran that it says Al-Jannah. Al-Jannah Fridaus is the most important. Which means this world is not where we belong to. So, which means that Al-Jannah they are talking about, you won't see it until you die. Oh. You will never see Al-Jannah when you are here. Oh. The day you die is when you see Al-Jannah or otherwise. So your religion will not save us now. It won't save us in this situation. You have to take your religion and put it aside now. Let us talk about our survivor. Your children cannot go to better school. Your husband, your wife, you have no better job. Even the house you are living, paying rent is like, when you want to carry a cow through the window. Those are things that concerns you. No be religion caused that one. Make you hear. Now your decision yesterday, the decision where you make, say, you know, they participate in politics. Or now PDP you won't do. Now APC you won't do. Now that decision brought us all this. Oh, your children that cannot go to school. Now that past decision. Oh, your husband that cannot boast of any job. Your father that is yet to get his pension. Now that your decision. Oh, and you took the decision because the person was Muslim. He's a brother. Now you are paying it. You are paying the price because your religion told you to choose your brother in Islam. Your brother in Islam, instead of him to give you money to build standard hospitals in your own community, to create jobs that can, and to create opportunities that can give your husband jobs, he didn't do that. Rather, he brought the money and said, let me send you to Mecca. So that they can call you Elijah. They can call you Alaji. And your religion says you have chosen right. Because now it is because you follow Amosun. That's when you become Alaji. There is so many Alaji doing Alabaru in Oshodi right now. Alaji. They have been to Mecca. Religion cannot save us now. You yourself, you know that your religion will not save you until you die. You know it. Please, help me talk to our Alimulas. I don't know if I'm right. Maybe Mullahs, or what do we call them? Our imams. Our elders. Àwọn bàbá wa lílé, ọmọ wọ́n yí padà, tọmọ wọ́n yí padà. Olóṣèlú ti gbé mọ́tò wá fún yín. Ó lóun padà lọ lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí. Ẹni ikú nìkan ló lè ní kó má wọlé. Bàbá, ó máa kú o torí kò ní wọlé. Ẹ mọ̀ dí. Nígbà tẹ́ tẹ̀lé lọ́la àkọ́kọ́, clinic yín tó wà ládùúgbò yín ńbẹ̀ yẹn. Ó pẹ̀lú bí tó fi campaign àbí kò pẹ̀lú. School yín tó ti fẹ́ wó tán yẹn, tẹ́yin fúnra yín mọ̀. School táwọn bàbá wa ti kọ́ ti pẹ́ yẹn. Ó pẹ̀lú nǹkan tó fi campaign fún yín àbí kò pẹ̀lú ládùúgbò yín. Ẹ̀yin kàn dẹ̀ fi ẹsẹ̀ àgbà ẹ bá fi tì sọ́hùn kó lè débi tó ń lọ. Ó ti wá débi tó ń lọ. Àwọn kan wà ládùúgbò yín lábúlé ńbẹ̀ yẹn o. Ejò lásán ló ṣáwọn lẹ́sẹ̀ o. Lọ́ fi dèrò ọ̀run. Àná ni wọ́n sọ fún mi pé jẹ̀díjẹ̀dí pa èèyàn ní Nàìjíríà. Mo ní mi ò gbọ́ rí. Wọ́n ní ṣé ayé ni. Mo ní ta ló sọ pé ṣé ayé ṣebí jẹ̀díjẹ̀dí lẹ rí. Ṣé mo kàn mí tó ń ṣe? Ẹni òwe ṣé ayé ni jàre. But mo believe pé ṣé ayé ni lóòótọ́. But lọ́kàn ti tèmi, èmi ń sọ pé jẹ̀díjẹ̀dí ò lè pààyàn. Tó bá lọ́wọ́ ayé nú, nǹkan tó fi kọ́ àwa dàgbà nìyẹn. Wọn kò ń ṣọwọ́ ayé nìkan. Tẹ́ bá wọnú jẹ̀dí yẹn, nǹkan mi ti ń ṣe. Tó sẹ́ni tó ti ẹ̀yẹ́ wò. Bàbá, hospital clinic yẹn lẹ́sìn lò. Wọ́n tí ìtúnṣe náà ó lóun padà lọ. Ẹ tún wọlé fún àbí? Ẹ tún wọlé àwọn àgbàlagbà tí tó ń láti lọ. Bàbá, àgbàdẹ ló ń dé yìí. Kò sí health care, kò sí health plan ní kọ́kọ́ fún yín. Bàbá, bí a bá sàsí ò ti ẹ̀ràn yín, tí èdè ò mú yín, tí nǹkan kan ò ṣe yín, agbára máa padà wá béèrè tó máa sìn yín ní tó túmọ̀ sí pé ẹ nídìí ìtọ́jú lọ́jọ́ ogbó yín. Àwọn tó lè ṣe ìtọ́jú yẹn fún ọjọ́ ogbó yín, àwọn lẹ ti fẹsẹ̀ àgbà tì pé ẹni tó bá ń takù wọn ó máa kú ni. Ẹ̀yin gan para yín díẹ̀díẹ̀ ní sa o. Ẹ lè má mọ̀ o, èmi ti sọ́nsìn yín o. Gbogbo yín tẹ́ ń dọ́gbọ́n fún wọn, tẹ́ ń lọ ọgbọ́n ayé, tẹ́ ń lo oríṣiríṣi ọlọ́run á máa fún yín ṣe o bọ́ ẹ̀ ń para yín díẹ̀díẹ̀ ni tí lọ́ra ń para yín díẹ̀díẹ̀ tẹ́ ń gera yín báyìí torí abíní máa bíní abèrè máa bèrè ilé ìwé tí wọn kọ́ yẹn làwọn ọmọ yín máa lọ àwọn ọmọ yín tó yẹ kó wá di dókítà kó di lọ́yà lọ́jọ́ ọ̀la wọ́n wá dọlọ́kadà nítorí secondary school nìkan ló lè lọ secondary school ọ̀hún gan wọn ò lè dákọ lẹ́tà ẹ̀yin dẹ̀ mọ́ honorable rí ẹ mọ́ senator rí mọ́tò bọ̀gìnì ló ń gbé wálé yín bọ́ ṣe ń jàsè jẹ ló ń wẹ wíwẹ̀ ló ń sín ló ń ṣaṣíṣá ló ń ṣoríṣiríṣi ẹ̀yin lẹ́ ń ṣe tọ́lọ́ bá fún yín láǹfààní pé ẹ̀ ń wò mí bí mo ṣe ń bá yín sọ̀rọ̀ yìí bàbá ẹ jẹ́ àjáwọ́ ń sìn yín o nǹkan tẹ́ ẹ̀ ń ṣe yẹn ẹ wá jẹ́ ká kójọ sẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ kan ṣòye yín sìn tó bá tún ti wá ẹgbẹ́ àlùmọ̀dì fún wọn kọ́ lọ sórí burúkú wọn síwájú orí burúkú ló ń kórìn torí àwọn ọmọ yín tí wọn kọ́ yẹn ló máa padà wá gbélé tẹ kọ́tà lẹ́yìn wá ọ̀la ọ̀pọ̀ ló máa wá tà á torí wọn ti ẹ̀ mọ́ válù ẹ̀ aṣenini wa ṣe là ń ṣera wa tá a mọ̀ ọ̀sán àdòru òkè àdìlẹ̀ ẹni bá ṣe gbá nǹkan kan máa ṣẹlẹ̀ mẹ́wàá ṣẹlẹ̀ ó máa kàn yín ó máa kàn yín náà ibi tẹ́ ti ń lọ mọ́tò tó gbé fún yín àwọ̀ ọmọ tí ó kàwé lójú tí ìbọn jẹ́ wà lápò ẹ̀ ẹ̀yin ń lọ ẹ̀ ń ka newspaper ọkàn yín ti balẹ̀ iṣẹ́ ọwọ́ yín lẹ̀ ń jẹ ẹ̀ jalè ẹ̀ lọ́yàn kankan lọ́wọ́ gbà ẹ̀ ṣe kọ́kọ́ ẹ̀ ṣe kọ́kọ́ iṣẹ́ ọwọ́ yín lẹ̀ ń jẹ ọmọ yẹn wá rí yín lọ́ọ̀kan togun yín á kàn fi bọn á kàn fi ata pupa aṣọ pupa sẹ́nu bọ́bá á kàn dàbọ̀ bò yín ẹ kú dànù nìyẹn wọ́n wá lọ ta mọ́tò yín ní scrap lówó dé àṣẹ ní ń ṣe ra rẹ̀ ní o ẹ̀yin lè má mọ̀ o ó tún má lè wá jẹ yín ló ó lè má jẹ yín ló máa ṣẹlẹ̀ sí ọmọ yín tẹ́ wá fi owó yẹn tọ́ gbogbo ẹlẹ́ ti dè wọ́n lámúre kò sí nǹkan tó lè ṣe wọ́n ká máa burú jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ sà ká máa ó stubborn o ká máa ò dẹ̀ mọ́ anybody rí so ẹ jẹ́ ká pera wá ń sìn gbogbo èmi tí ẹ ń bọ̀ ń jẹ̀bù náà a máa pe mítì ń jẹ̀bù àwọn kan tá máa ṣe fi ṣẹ́rù tá máa ṣe fi dẹ́rù bà wọ́n nígbà tí time bá tó nìyẹn ṣe gbọ́ sìn àwọn nǹkan tọrọ pa àní lè ṣe àwa ṣe wá wá rí sign yẹn ẹ̀gbọ́n mi kan suggest pé ká pe youth conference l'Ogun State mo ní a máa pè é ayé àtijọ́ la ti ní Nancy ta ti ní other student associations ayé àtijọ́ la ti mọ iye àwọn èèyàn tí wọ́n jẹ́ student SUG president gbogbo àwọn SUG president tí wọ́n ń sìn oníjẹkújẹ ni wọ́n oníjẹkújẹ oníkàlùkù sì kò lè di SUG president lẹ́niwẹ̀ láì jẹ́ pé politician kan endorse yẹ wọ́n gbéra wọn díẹ̀díẹ̀ ni wọ́n gbéra wọn lẹ́nu kòtò lọ́wọ́ bọ́n wọn ò ní jẹ́ ẹ sọ torí lójú tiwọn àlùtà continua ẹ má pàlùtà wọn ní dáyín lóhùn bí tá à ń bá lọ kọ́sà àwọn ọmọ yẹn máa mọ nǹkan tó ń lọ and they will fight ẹ pé àlùtà ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń pera yín student SUG kìíní kan tẹ́ ń braggadocio káàkiri yẹn we will take care of you it's a matter of time just give us time kẹ́tẹ̀tẹ̀ yá máa jẹ yìí tẹ́ bá lè jẹ́ ń sìn ó ti yé ẹ máa jẹ yìí tẹ́ lè jẹ́ o because it's a matter of time àwa pé conference yẹn ní Ogun State ibẹ̀ láti máa trash out everything ibi tẹ́yìn ti máa ráwọn tẹ́yìn ò tiẹ̀ mọ̀ pé ẹ lè rí bẹ́ẹ̀ láyé yín nìyẹn because enough is enough we can't keep pretending if money happens to be our problem we have so much money that we have so much poverty as well. That means money is not our problem. Money is not our problem. We have selfish, greedy people who are too lazy to think. Not until you show them. They don't even know what to do. Many of you have encountered problems whereby you take projects to them, and they will tell you this one is not possible. Don't even disturb. We can't do this because it's so daft. But it's the one in charge. It's the one to approve your contract. A dafty, an idiot. But they tell you it's a party. Are you smarter than the chairman? Who is your chairman? Who is that your Gogoro chairman? Who will rubbish everybody? Who will be mentioning your names? Who will come to your local government and say, you see, this. They are all drunkards. Don't listen to them. They are just drunk. They don't know what they are talking about. I will come to Ogun State. I will tour Ogun State. I will meet my other comrades. People said, oh, don't come, they will kill you. I say, oh, kill you, Sha. That's what they kill. Oh, voila. Make them go, they buy the gun. They buy everything. Who go come to Ogun State? You know? So they will not deceive us anymore. You know, they won't deceive us anymore and we won't listen to them anymore. And we have this crop of past political office holders telling us they know our state better than us. So they know our state and they can't change our situation. Where is that done? Well, that doesn't make any sense to me. Doesn't make any sense. You were once in office, yes. So how come we still have a problem with our education, having a problem with our healthcare system? How come our children are unable to pay the exorbitant school fees that your useless government imposed on them? And you want to tell me you know better? How come we have been unable to utilize our resources to our own benefit in our own state since when you were there? And you want to tell me about you know better? Am I blown? Who cares about what you know and what you don't know? What you know and what you don't know never added any value. Assuming they added any value, we won't be this worse off. Go on Facebook now. Everybody is like, I don't know. Everybody is so, I don't know. I don't know how you are comfortable with that. And you can come on social media to argue with someone and say he doesn't know what he's talking about. And you think you know what you're talking about? You do? Time will tell. You know what I mean? So we are not going to listen to them. You know what I mean? We are not going to listen to them. We are not going to obey them. We don't want them. We will not negotiate with them. We will not sit down with them until we have crushed them internally and forced them out to call for help. They will call for help. They will call for help. They can say whatever they want to say. The difference between Mayegun, Get Involved, Federalist Movement of Nigeria, and the rest of them is very simple. We walk the talk. We put our money where our mouth is. That's the difference. Nobody can wake up tomorrow and say, Mayegun is the camp to Amosun, is the camp to this, is the camp. I don't know all this nonsense they are doing. It's never going to happen. So that is the independence we enjoy. We enjoy that. I go to bed at night. I don't feel like I offended anybody. When I do my things, I go to bed. I wake up the following morning, I start again. I go back to bed, I wake up to the next morning, I start again. Because I don't offend anybody. If you say rubbish on my wall, I block you. Forget it. We move on. I don't have to worry. I've offended someone. No, what I wrote this morning. That person will be mad though. Or maybe I shouldn't even. Let me go and delete it. People will come to me and say, Badero, you should delete this post. I was just like, are you mad? Delete what post? Sure, alright. Can delete the post too. Nitori Titani. So you get me now? We are not going to listen to them. We are not going to respect them. We are not going to bow for them. We are not going to fear them. And we are not going to run away from them. In fact, we are going to stand up to them. And that's what they should be preparing for. And they say, on what ground? On what this thing? Are you going to contest? Are you... Don't worry. Don't worry. Do your thing and let us do our thing. By the special grace of God, from next year, we'll start identifying our strong members as in volunteers from different local governments across Nigeria. The moment we start identifying them, we start bringing them to the spotlight, we start showing them and telling you what they want to do and all that. And because in Get Involved, what we are doing is we just want to create the platform. Do you know what I mean? We just want to create the platform. Let's create the platform where you and I can come and exercise our, our sovereign right, our franchise. They won't give us the opportunity there. And we will not go to them. We will not go to any meeting. We will not go to anybody's house. If you want to meet us, we will tell you where to meet us. And when you meet us, you must come with something solid. Don't come with how much God has blessed you. Because we don't give a damn about how much God has blessed you. We don't care about how much money you have or how many titles you possess. Come to us with respect. Respect us while you approach us. We are not kids. Do you get that? We are not kids. And you have every right to be concerned. Because we are not kids. So when you approach us with respect and dignity and present your case respectfully, then we will listen to you. We will listen to you and we will return and we will reciprocate the same gesture. We will respect you. We will treat you with dignity. We will listen to you and we will discuss with you. It doesn't matter if we agree or not, but we will respect you if you respect us. You don't talk to us anyhow. You are not feeding any one of us. You know what I mean? You are not feeding any of these guys. So your opinion must come with respect. And that's what we are preaching. And that is why we said we are not going to listen to anybody except those who approach us with respect. You have to first respect us. And you talk to us respectfully. That's why we are not appealing to anybody or any specific person or any group of people that please come to us. No. So which means if you want to do anything with us, you talk to us respectfully. You respect us and you respect everything we believe in. And you share your opinion, we discuss it, and we take it off from there. We have to change the way we reason in our politics. And if they are still waiting for someone who is a former governor or former this or former that or son of minister this and that to come and do that, they will wait for long. We are ready and we are coming. And we are not negotiating. They don't have to really look, they don't have to really see us as serious as, as others. But the truth of the matter is that we will not listen to them. It doesn't matter. What you said, you have offended Amosun. It doesn't matter. We will offend Amosun, offend Benga Daniel, offend Buruji, offend everybody. They've been offending us since. They have been playing us like balls since. So what is wrong if we start offending them? Which leaders are they? Useless people, useless old men, greedy bastards. We can't listen to them. Sorry for my, apologize for that, my language. Because that's how I feel. Yes, that's how I feel. I'll call them bastards, I'll call them names, I'll call them whatever I want to call them. And they will come for me. Because in my own world, man must take responsibility for his actions. So that's why I said, you don't need to pity any one of us. Don't pity us. We don't need your pity. We don't need all this emotional pity and all that. We don't. Don't pity us. Don't feel sorry for us. Live our future. It's none of your business if you're not listening with us, that you care for our future. Well, do you know me? You know me anywhere. You did there when my mama born me. So how you can't care for my future? You don't even know my future. I don't know you. So if you are one of them and you are with them, why do you have to care for my future? Care for your future. Let them give you your future. Do you know what I mean? We have to stand up and face them. Mobilize. Go to your schools. Call your sisters who are in schools and all that. Call them. Tell them that, listen, if you don't have voter's card, go and get it now. It's a must. You must get a voter's card. If you yourself, if you don't have voter's card, go and get it. It's a must. I'll show you mine. I'll show you mine in a minute before I end this video. Go and get it. They said that Badero cannot vote in Nigeria. It's none of your business. I can fly in anytime and register and vote in Nigeria. It's none of your business. Go and mind your own business. If you have voter's card, go and learn how to use it and not sell it. Because Badero will not sell his own voter's card. It's never going to happen. And so are the other people in the Get Involved movement and the Federalist movement of Nigeria. We won't sell our cards. So call your sisters. Those who have who want to move their voting place to wherever they want to move it to in Nigeria. Encourage them. Let us take political power first. Then we can deal with the economic power and the other problem. The economic problem and the other problems in Nigeria. These ones can't fix it. They can't do it. They won't do it. There's no point in deceiving ourselves and thinking that they are going to change. They won't change. And we'll keep attacking them. We'll keep attacking them until when they will sleep at night and all they will be hearing is Amosu, Benga Danielo. We'll shout until they can't hear anymore like Buhari, and they will run away like Buhari. That's what will happen. Because you have to listen to the people. You cannot think of yourself alone and expect something to give. You are the one that should give. You have to give way. You have to break that feeling of, you know, you are the leader, you know it, and then those of you who wants to go and beg money from them and all that, you know, I'm not sorry for you. I just feel like, you know, it's not going to work again. You see? So if you are watching me, let me just round this up quickly, because I'm already losing my voice. I've shouted too much. So if you want to join our movement, there are two ways you can join us. The first one is you can join as a volunteer to be up every time we have our program, and you know it's happening in your area, and then you know, you can be part of it, the organizers and all that, or mobilizer for the event in your area. That's number one. Number two, you can join our movement as a sponsor. As a sponsor means we don't take money from you. What we do is that when we have events, what we do most of the time is we organize events, you know, awareness events to lecture and give some, you know, lectures on what we need to do in 2019, how we need to preach the message, how we need to encourage people and bring more people together across board. So we do that every now and then, though we have very limited resources handling that now. But I understand why that is still that, and I believe that with time, more people will believe in us and they will support us. They will finance our event. We are not asking you for give us money or no. Once we have our event, we'll come out with our budget. I live in Scotland, so I also have these guys, and I deal with them on trust, and they have been very fantastic. They have been very, very fantastic. I know what this mobilization and all that, how this how it works in Nigeria. People do this to make money, but for the first time, we managed to see genuine youths who are ready to do it if they can get sponsored without having to be paid. That I take this, take that. No, they are ready. They have the time. They are ready to dedicate their time and their energy and their intelligence to make sure this works. And they have been doing so well. I've been so proud of them. You know? So, which means when we have events, I'll come on here to seek for your support. We do our own internal fundraising as well that is never public. So, and we do all of these things just to make sure that we encourage these kids. We encourage these comrades, these guys, that they should pursue what they believe in. That is all that is lacking in Nigeria. Lack of opportunity to practice what you feel like, what you preach. So we are encouraging them, and we are doing that steadily. And we believe that when time gets better, we'll get more money to organize bigger events where more people like will attend, and we'll keep raising our awareness and all that. So I said I was going to show you my voter's card. So I need to show you that before I go. One sec. So, if you are still watching, look at this. That's my own voter's card before I left Nigeria. So, which means anytime I come in, it's called temporal, what's it called? Temporal voter's card or something. That's what it's called. So, that's me. Which means whenever I come back to Nigeria, right, I can get my own card. And at the same time, I can vote, and I can be voted for. You can't tell me that I'm from I'm Tekobo or Scotland. You don't drag and tete. So nobody that will come up and say, "Well, I'm not contesting. I don't have any ambition for any political office or any political appointment or anything. I just want things done differently, so that we can at least take back our country, take back our destiny, and decide where we want to go to." Thank you so much for your time this afternoon. Trust me, I'm going to be back. I've said it, I'll always be here until the last of them leaves those positions. So until I see you next time, this is Mayegun. Bye from here.